Boom, and we are live with another episode of the Brownwater Banter Podcast. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
It is Joey Cates, and we got a good show for you. Joining us this evening, it is the Executive Director of the Department of Marine Resources, General Joe Spraggins, is in the studio with us again. We were talking about, I think it's his third time on the show, and we're going to be going over all kinds of different topics here today from... What'd you say, Joey? We're going to talk about the oysters.
Oysters, snapper. We're going to talk about the probable cause. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. These fancy hats we got on, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. But before we jump into it, like we always do, we got to thank the people that pay the bills over here for us right out of the gate. Dr. Robbie Williams over at Southern Magnolia Smiles, man. It is May of 2026. It's the year to get them pearly whites shined up and looking good. So if you're looking for a great local dentist, you can look them up on the socials at Southern Magnolia Smiles on Facebook or Instagram. When you're ready to book that consultation with them, you can give them a shout at 228-215-1202 and tell them Brownwater sent you. If you need legal representation yourself or someone you know, Taylor & Cox Law Firm has been practicing law right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast for over 30 years. It's our buddy Tyler right here. Like I always tell you, they specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUI, BUI, family law, divorce, child custody. If you need someone that's going to fight for you in the courtroom, Taylor & Cox Law Firm is the one for you. You can give them a shout at 228-696-0111. And again, tell them Brownwater sent you. If you felt that warm snap just hit us, it's about to get hot. Ooh. Summertime's coming. You want to get that beach bod looking good. You're a little bit behind the eight ball.
You might give it up. Yeah, don't give it up.
Don't give it up. Just call Forever Young Men and Women's Health. This is Kendrick right here. He can get you on track and where you need to be, looking good, feeling better, and overall just prioritizing your health, man. Their motto is bringing medicine, health, and exercise together to help both men and women live their best lives. So you give them a shout. They'll book an appointment with them. They'll do some lab work, like draw some blood, do some lab work on you, and get you optimized, see if you're vitamin deficient or hormone deficient, and get you back on track so you can start feeling better. When you need to give them a call and book that consultation, you can give them a shout at 228-363 6623. And then we have a new sponsor coming on for us for this month. It is Insured Roofing. It's my buddy Jason. He talked to us the other day, said he wanted to come on and support the show. We got a little write-up for him here. It's Insured Roofing. It's they're Gulf Coast professionals. They specialize in residential and commercial roofing systems built to handle our coastal weather. And I don't want to say anything here, but knock on wood, like I said, it's getting warmer, and we all know what sometimes can come along with that. It's I'm not even going to say the word, but let's just say storms that might affect your roof. From shingles to metal roof, fortified roofing systems, their Insured Roofing is built for the coast and built to last. If you need a roof inspection, repair, or replacement, give Insured Roofing a call. And I have their number. Where is it? Let me click right here. It is 228-797-7667, or you can go over to insuredroof.com and check them out, man. It's very, very important, I'm sure, as all of you know. To make sure your roof's legit, because nobody wants a leak.
A leaky roof.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
Yep.
So I want to thank the sponsors, man. Like I said, without them, we can't do it. And I want to thank you, General Spraggins, for being here, sir. We appreciate you stopping by again and chatting with us. This is, we've mentioned it many times on the show, sponsored our relationship with the DMR and sponsoring the show. We really appreciate it, and we thank you for that. We're really proud to do that. Everywhere we go, we talk to people and try to get the message out to what all the things that y'all do that people don't realize outside of just the law enforcement side of things. And Joey and I'm not going to say we know everything, but we have learned a lot since we've been doing these episodes with you guys, and we appreciate it. So if you could, please, if somebody's catching you here for the first time, if you could just give them a brief backstory of your personal story and how you ended up at the DMR.
Okay. Well, I ended up in DMR because of a situation back in 2013 when they had the new director come in, Jamie Miller. And Jamie had come to DMR, and when he did, he called and asked me. He said, would I come help him? I said, what do you want me to do? And he said, won't you help me turn this thing around?
Right.
And I said, okay. And I told him I'd give him a year. Well, it's been 13 years. But
yes,
prior to that, 34 years in the Air Force and flying around the world in fighter jets and having a good time. So life's been great to me.
Now, tell me that part again. You was a pilot?
Yeah, I flew F-4s.
Oh, wow. Now, that part I did forget. That's cool. That's really cool. Could you do that?
No, absolutely not. I'm a chicken. I don't like heights or speed, so I'm in the wrong business if I'm flying F4s.
We have a good friend of ours, Nick and Stephanie. Their oldest son just got in a fighter jet the other day for the first time. He's in the Navy and he's training to become a fighter pilot as well. So he was like
great.
super. This kid's wanted to do that since he was, I think, old enough to talk. Honest to God, and now he's actually doing it, making a dream come true. So it's
Over at Pensacola.
he is no Jacksonville,
Okay.
in Florida. Yes, sir. So, but it was cool to see him actually get to take that first ride and do his thing. So, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going with the story there. 13 years you've been there now, huh?
Yeah, 13 years, and I took over in 2017 as executive director. But I knew that I liked seafood, and I knew I liked to fish a little, and enjoy it. But that's all I knew about the Department of Marine Resources. I didn't know anything else about them when we got there, and it's been an education every day.
Yeah.
And it's been a great education. It's amazing how many young men and women that we have out there that are working hard for us, and they're all very well educated, and they know what they're doing. They work hard to be able to take care of the resource,
Right.
and they are not scared to tell me the truth, and I love it. And I love
Hey,
that.
that's the kind of people you want working
That's
for you,
right.
with you.
I told them I don't want yes men.
That's right.
And women. I want somebody to tell me the truth and tell me what's going on.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And we have learned, just like I say, doing these episodes, just how much y'all do. I didn't realize how many departments were in the DMR. I had no clue. Every one of your people that's been over here in the studio and sat in that chair right there and done the
Very
show,
knowledgeable.
very knowledgeable, very pleasant people, and very passionate about what they do. So it's always a pleasure to have y'all in here.
Have y'all had the Grand Bay near Aisha?
multiple times? Well, someone specific. We've had the Grand Bay Near people in here. I don't
Yeah.
know
Okay.
specifically.
Well,
who
it's
you
probably
refer-
wasn't I, but Dr. Aisha Gray is over it. But I mean, that is a great thing over there.
Yeah, and we keep saying we want to get over there, and our calendars always stay so booked up with all the different things that we got going on. But just the photos that I looked at online, Joey, you never been there through a field trip, have you?
Yeah, I've been
Okay.
there. I drove 2 or 3 field trips there, just pulling on the bus and jump out. It's really cool if you've never been there before.
Yeah. It's
We had the head of NOAA, the director of NOAA, and the deputy director of NOAA there a couple of weeks ago,
Really.
and they was there, and they came down to just look at it, and about 3 hours later they left.
That's
they
right.
were just having a blast. They loved it.
There's a lot of stuff to do out there for sure.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, it's just, the coast down here, we have so much to offer. It's so beautiful, and a lot of times people don't realize that. And even myself, living here my whole life, there's places like that I've just never been. I don't even know.
I tell everybody it's the worst kept secret out there.
That's
we shouldn't
right.
keep it.
That's right.
It ought to be. It shouldn't be a secret.
We say that all the time. Like, we promote the Gulf Coast down here on the show all the time, but it's also like kind of a catch-22, because it's like, well, we don't want the secret to get out too much, because we don't want to get the traffic and
Yeah.
get too crowded down here.
Well,
and stuff
we just
like
got
that.
back from Destin, and my youngest was like, "Dad, don't you wish we had water like this?" And I was like, "No."
No, absolutely not.
Because you see that traffic on that bridge,
Yeah.
it doesn't stop. That's what ours would be like, and I don't want that.
That's exactly right.
Plus,
So
it's hard to catch that fish out there in that.
It's hard to trick them in that clear water.
yeah, when they can see 2 miles away. What topic do we want to tackle first, Joey? I'm gonna let you.
I guess we'll jump into oyster season, right?
let's do that.
Yeah. How this year's oyster season go? It's still going on, and what were the details?
Well, the season is over as far as on bottom,
Right.
and recreational, and for the commercial that way. We wound up with a little over 50,000 sacks, which is probably that's the largest number that we've had since probably 2011, 2012 timeframe.
Okay.
So that tells you something that we've rebuilt it. We would get it back to almost rebuilt, and something would happen. Rebuilt, and something would happen. But 2019, when we got totally devastated, and then have it back here where we're doing 50,000, we could have caught more than 50,000 if it would have just been the weather. It'd have been better. But the weather kept them down a little bit.
Right.
And also the size of the oysters. They're so big now. And being able to find the right market for it. So what we're looking on now is we're trying to find the right market. Where's the right market to sell the Mississippi jumbo oyster?
Yeah.
And sell the nice big oyster and everything. So that's what we're working on, and we're working to do that. I think next year we will probably be in the 100,000 range.
Okay.
Sacks that we'll be able to get, and so that's tremendous. I mean, if we get there, that's better all the way back 2007, 2008 time frame.
Right.
And so that is amazing to get back to that level. And so we're working on it. The team is doing a fantastic team. We have a model that we're using, and we use a thing called spat on shell.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we buy the oysters that are about the size of your thumb, and they're already mounted. They're already growing on shell.
Right.
And we put them in there, and we found out that if you buy just a speck oyster, which is like a 10 to 14 day oyster, if you put them in there in what they call spat on shell, 10 to 14 days, they like a piece of pepper. It's what it looks like, a little pepper seed, and a little small dot. That's all you have. Well, the mortality rate's about 95 to 98% on that.
Really?
Well, once they hit the water, there's something eating it and something happening to it that falls off before it ever gets in the, to the ground. Well, when we started doing that, we went back and we said, okay, we're going to put a spat on shell that's big enough that we put in a nursery and grow them for a couple of months. And now it's up to this size, it's up to 5 centimeters or whatever it is, that we use. And now the mortality rate is amazing. It's very less. It's nowhere near that. I mean, we're talking probably 60 to 70% survival rate.
Really?
Yeah.
And so what our goal is what we do is put 100 million oysters in the water every year. And you think it's a lot of oysters.
No.
But even at that, it takes it to rebuild it. And that's what we're doing. And our goal now is to take the areas that have the least amount of oysters and put the spat on shell in those to rebuild them and continue harvesting off the ones where we have and continue to be able to put cults down and continue to grow. It's working great. And off bottom, it's doing fantastic.
Yeah.
They're doing great.
They're rocking and rolling.
They're doing great. They're working hard. The companies are working hard. And I think that just given the right time and the right marketing, we can get them there. And that's what it's going to take. And that's one of the things that I've committed to is that I will put money into marketing to be able to help the either on and off bottom oysters and the shrimp and the crabs and the finfish to be able to sell Gulf of America, Mississippi seafood.
Right.
So, and I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to put the money in it to be able to do it. And we have it in certain budgets that we can use, and I want to do that.
The oysters, most of them are in Pascagoula, right? Off of those, were there any harvested outside of Pascagoula? Was Ocean Springs or anything towards Pascagoula open this year?
We did not harvest that area this year, but we probably will next year. And it was because that we had a freshwater kill that killed a lot of them a couple of years ago, and we had to rebuild that area again. But what we're looking at is around the Ocean Springs area, that reef. We have some more reefs that we're looking at. We have some that are south of Pascagoula, that area that we're trying to get back to the point to where we can harvest them, but now, most of them are now restricted or either prohibited, and because of water quality in that area. So we're working on that very hard to be able to straighten that out. I'm looking at trying to build some beds maybe around Round Island.
That'd be cool.
Which is out there, and build some other beds in some other areas, and we're still working on it. And I tell you, just north of Deer Island was probably the mecca of the oyster business in Mississippi at one time.
Really?
Yeah, and we let it go away. And I mean, years ago it went away. But what we did, and then we turned around and gave the Corps of Engineers the rights to put spoil in there whenever they
all
dredged.
that limestone.
Yeah, well, they put dredge in there.
Okay. And covered them all up.
And it covered everything up. But now we're asking them, we've got a new area that they're building 400-something acres on the east end of Deer Island, that we're going to build that 400 acres out there. And we're saying, hey, let's put all the spoil here. Now give me this back and let me try to bring it back. And I think we can. And they're working with us. The Corps is working hard with us to try to do it. But anytime you ask the government to give up something, if they got control of it, that's a different ballgame.
That's right.
And that's the big excavators on the east side of the islands, what you're talking about? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that'll give us some more square footage of the island itself at the end of the day?
400 acres.
Okay, yeah. Wow, that's a lot.
It is a pile.
Yeah, it's about a little over a $30 million project. The Corps paying for 100% for us.
Sweet.
Wow.
So the on bottom are closed, season's closed. Off bottom are still rocking and rolling, right? You can still get them year round.
They are.
And they're more of the, like you mentioned earlier, the on bottom are the bigger size oysters, usually in clusters and stuff. The off bottom are the little boutique that they can grow them as much as they want, right?
Right. Well, they grow them at a certain size, and they know what size that their market wants to buy, and so they grow them to that size and sell them.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to keep them uniformed in shape and size, like you're talking about, because of the way they can turn them.
Yeah,
and
they tumble them, and they do, and that's another thing we're doing for them. We're in the process of getting a barge and a tumbler, and we got the tumbler already. We just need the barge and putting it out on south of Deer Island, so they don't have to move the oysters in and out. They can just tumble them right there.
Oh wow, that'd probably make their lives a lot easier.
Well, now the big thing with it getting hot is time.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have to get them off the bottom.
Yep.
They have to get them in, get them to a refrigerator.
Unless you got a refrigerated boat to put them on, it's just a matter of hours. You
Yeah,
gotta put
it's
them
not
back in
ice
it.
chest.
Right.
It's you got to be like really refrigerated.
Yeah.
So
You got to have below a
quick.
certain degree.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important though, as we all know. I mean, those things
100%.
can. Those things can go.
Yeah, you don't want to get them. You don't want a tainted oyster.
No, and one bad oyster can ruin it for everybody.
We did right here on the back patio. It's been a little bit ago, but we did the off bottom versus on bottom. We had both, and we opened them up and ate them and filmed a little video and put it out on YouTube and Facebook and the whole nine. And do you remember? I thought they were both tasted great.
In my opinion, and I run off bottom tours. The bottom ones are a little bit fatter.
Yeah,
because they're sitting down there just eating everything.
They grow longer.
Right. Yeah, they grow longer. Kind of harder to shuck because they got them big husky shells.
Yep.
The off bottom ones are a little bit skinnier. Both equally as salty, but easier to shuck.
Right.
Of course, it's a whole easier shell.
The off bottom ones are growing in about a year.
Right.
And a lot of them are what they call triploids.
Yeah.
Which is an oyster that doesn't reproduce, so it just takes it and it produces. It takes it basically, and everything that it takes in, it just uses it for itself. It doesn't reproduce anything out.
Right.
Okay.
And it's a diploid and a triploid, and the diploid is your normal oyster, but that triploid oyster it grows a lot faster. You can get a market-sized oyster like that in 7 months.
Yeah.
And so,
so you tell me the triploid doesn't reproduce? Now, is that made naturally? That's not anything we did.
That is a gentleman out of the Northeast has a patent on that, and he designed it. And a doctor up there, he PhD, and he designed that oyster, and it is a hybrid type oyster that it does not reproduce, but it takes everything that it brings in, and it uses it just kind of like a steer or anything else.
Right.
They grow a lot faster because they're sitting there just using everything, all their energy on one thing.
They're not worried about all that other stuff.
Yeah, they're using their energy, and they're not trying to put out any type of sperm or anything else out there like they are with oyster.
Yeah.
They usually have the little black line on it, the triploids. If you look at the shell, they got a little triploid thing on it. But if you ever got a milky oyster, you ever opened an oyster and it looked all kind of white and milky, that's why they did the triploid, because it never goes into the reproductive stage.
Yeah. Now, are we having to constantly put those out there? Where are they coming from if they don't reproduce?
They have to. As I said, the gentleman has a patent on it. So you have to buy them from someone that he deals with or whatever, and they're a little bit more expensive, and you have to buy the larvae from them and then put it on the shell, and spat on shell to be able to do it. But different places are selling them.
Okay, but it is something that the DMR or somebody's putting out.
DMR does not do it. DMR only puts out diploids.
Okay,
we only put out something that can reproduce.
Okay,
we don't put a non-reproduce.
You have to buy that locally, but y'all are the ones that give the leases.
Yes.
Correct, and the classes.
Well, us and the Secretary of State.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What was the last time? I don't know if was he on, or I don't remember who it was that we spoke to, but there was the commercial guys were getting a little upset about the oyster stuff. Did we get that kind of ironed out?
That's when y'all went to Jackson.
Yeah, when we were at the state capitol.
Yeah, the commercial guys was upset because they had passed the regulation, and it basically said that we had to lease 80% of the bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
And so they filed a lawsuit in which they took it to court, and the judge said, no, that's unconstitutional. You can't do this. You can't do that. And I don't remember all the details on it, but basically we backed up and everybody regrouped, and we said, okay, we're just going to stay where we at. Whether the legislature brings that back up or not, that's up to them.
Okay.
Whether they want to bring it back up or not, but obviously, you don't want to try to go against the judge and what the judge says. So got, if it's something that they want to look at a different way, then I'm sure that the legislature will look at it a different way. But right now, we're just not going to lease anything. If it's already been leased, if you had a lease with us prior to that legislation being written and prior to this past session,
right?
Then we'll honor those leases, but we just won't do any new leases until we get some kind of better understanding on it.
Okay,
sweet.
That's a good deal there. That. Where we headed next?
I guess snapper. We always got the redheaded stepchild.
Tell me about it.
Everybody wants to talk about.
Everybody coming. It starts the 22nd. That's Friday, right?
Yeah.
So today is the
19th as we record.
Yeah, so we got couple more days. So let's get to the nuts and bolts on that.
Well, and I will say, too, before we jump into it, Trevor's usually the one who has to come in here.
Yeah, he's a whipping boy.
He's the one that sits in the hot seat, and he's got all the information. He does a great job trying to keep us in line. Now, when he's done talking, a lot of times both of my eyes are crossed, and I don't understand half of what I just heard, but I do my best.
Well, I can tell you, you're talking about one sharp young man.
That is. I second that.
And, he is also the head of the SSC, which is a big, statistic study group that does that for the whole Gulf Council. And, and he does it for the Gulf. He's the head of it. I remember when I asked to put him on there, they was like, "Oh, he's way too young. He won't know anything. He won't have enough. He doesn't have enough knowledge to do this. We need to get somebody that's got a PhD in this and been in it for a while,
right?
And all that." And
then
2 years later, they made him the chairman of it.
Yeah.
That tell you how the young man is smart.
He is,
and he works hard at it. We're stuck right now. I mean, our allocation is 82,000 pounds this year. Okay, same as it was last year. We're having a meeting the 1st of June in Tampa, and all the 5 state directors for the Gulf is going to sit down, and we're going to try to talk about allocation, and we're going to talk about a possibility of removing some allocation from one state and give it to another state because that state's not catching all of what they should catch.
okay.
I don't think we're talking about hurting anybody. We're talking a small percentage. But like Florida gets a little over 42 or 44% of the catch. Well, they're not, they've in the last couple of years, they have not reached their limit by several percent. And each year, quite a bit.
And that goes away. You don't get that back.
You don't get it back.
Yeah.
Well, and that is another thing we're going to talk about is we could, if you didn't catch it this year, you could bring it back next year. Because we did that, and I'm glad you said that, because we did that. We're going to talk about that also in Gulf Council. And the reason for that is in case we have a hurricane or something like that, and you can't go fishing. Yeah. Well, the fish is still there. And, let's bring the allocation back more next year and let them be able to catch it. So that's something we're going to look at,
too.
Rollover. The rollover allocation. And, but hopefully right now, Mississippi only gets 3.55%. All right. And that was fine when we got to 3.55 because I signed off on it in 2017. And that was fine, to do that. Because at that point, we was getting like 156,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, then they did some kind of recalibration, and the recalibration didn't work out, and they cut us down to, where we're at now. And they cut us down to 60-something thousand, and then we got it back to 80-something thousand. Yep. But, and so what we're doing is we have MS Creel, who's been certified now.
Yep.
And that's a program that they're working, and the MS Creel is in line with LA Creel. And LA Creel is what Louisiana is doing so great with. And so hopefully that has been certified now. And so now all the data's going in. And at the worst case, next year, we should have that allocation coming back because of that, wherever the numbers are. But we need to be between 130 and 160,000 pounds. Yeah. We need to be somewhere in that neighborhood. 130 would be fine. 160 would probably be more than we needed, but it'd be great.
Right.
And but we need to get in that number somewhere in Mississippi. And if we do that, then we'll be able to let people fish and do what they need to do. And instead of us having 45 days and Alabama having 200 days, we'll have 180 days.
Right.
Or something like that. So, come on, give us a chance. That's all. And NOAA agrees with us. They agree 100% with us that the system is broke.
Yeah.
They know it's broke. They just don't want to fix it because I say they don't want. They do want to fix it, but they can't just stamp it and fix it. It just doesn't work that way. And so we got the same thing with amberjack.
Yeah.
Okay, amberjack. I know we're getting off track.
No.
Amberjack right now. If Mississippi caught 2 amberjack a year and reported them, we'd shut the whole Gulf down.
I believe it. I 100% believe it.
It would equivalent to somewhere around 500,000 pounds caught in Mississippi for 2 amberjack.
Yeah.
That's how antiquated this system is. Right. And no one knows it. And they know it, and Florida and everybody else is like, please don't turn one in, please.
Yeah. We didn't catch anything.
That's right.
Well, we're catching them, but the problem is if they don't get intercepted at the right way, if I don't call you and ask you if you did it, then it's not going to go on the record. Or if I don't get it at the dock when you come in, it's not going to go on the record.
Right.
And there's just so few of them caught in Mississippi that it's hard to get that record and be able to do anything with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to shut down amberjack.
No.
No, that'd be crazy.
Do you ever think our heyday in snapper was when snapper and amberjack were the same times.
We're working on that.
Yeah, where you'd go out there and you'd go for amberjack first, then come back in and catch your snapper and have a pretty decent haul.
We tried this year hard to get amberjack opened in June. All right, so we could do amberjack and snapper at the same time.
Right.
And what it would be, and we're working on that. It's not a no. It's just a matter of it's got to go through the wickets and NOAA to be able to and nymphs and all to get everything signed off on it. But if we can do that, I think that will help us. If we open in May June time frame and have a season, and then maybe close and then open up again later and have a season, but be able to do it. But two things that I look at: amberjack's no different than snapper. When you catch an amberjack and you're snapper fishing and it's illegal, guess what you got to do? You got to discard it. Well, guess what happens?
Either gut hook, shark, dolphin, something's going to
depends on
kill
whether
it.
it's going to make it or not.
Right.
So why waste that resource? And that's what we're talking about. We waste the resource when we do that. So why don't we look at that? And why don't we look at and NOAA's not against it. They're not against it. NIPS is not against it. They're not against any of that. And their idea is, how do we do this? We got to go through the right wickets to do it. And there's nothing against them. Andy Stelchek, who is the head of NIMS for NOAA, is doing a fantastic job. He wants to work with us everywhere in the world he can, but he can only do so much. And then it's got to go to Washington. It's got to be approved up there, and then he's got to wait on the red tape to get through, and it's got to happen. So we're working on it. And the head of NOAA Fisheries was down at Louisiana we had all the state directors from every state that borders ocean or Gulf in the United States there. And so we had them from all the way from Alaska to Puerto Rico to the Virgin Islands and Hawaii. Everybody was there, and all the way up the East Coast. Yeah. And everybody was there, and we all sat down and we talked about what we could do and how we could change things. And it was amazing that the same problem we're having on the East Coast of Gulf of America and the West Coast is almost the same. We're having similar to the same problems everywhere. So how do we fix them? And that's what we're working on.
Yeah. So give us what is this year's snapper season, and it's still 2 per fish, right?
It's two per person.
2 per person. I'm sorry.
2 per fish.
2 per fish. Yeah. 2 per person. I'm
2
sorry.
persons per fish.
There you go.
But no, they 2 per person, and we'll have to use that. It's still 16 inches, and we open on the 22nd, and our closing date is the 5th of July, but that's if we don't catch the allocation. If we catch the allocation, before that, we have to close. But if we have allocation left over and we can be able to open it, we can look at another time and bring them back open, maybe Labor Day weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll look at it. I don't know if we could possibly be able, if we do this reallocation with the 5 states, if they come back and say, hey, we'll give Mississippi 2% more, well, that'd give us 60,000 more pounds.
Right.
Well, and if we can do that, I don't know that it can go in effect before the end of this season, but if it did, we might be able to open up a fall season and say, hey, we got a new season.
Ooh, them October snapper are really big. They've been eating down there for a while.
Yeah.
So, but, we're going to fight it.
Okay. Yeah. Can you explain to me when we talk about like the amberjack situation or the snapper, what's the process there? Who makes the decision and how does it trickle down before it becomes policy to where y'all can roll it out?
In the situation, what we do is we'll put basically a message into the Gulf Council and say, hey, we want to look at this. We want to look at this and this snapper, the allocation of snapper. We want to look at the snapper assessment. We want to look at the grouper. We want to look at red drum. We want to look at anything.
Right.
All right. And then we'll ask them to do a study for us. And so what they will do is they will go back and put data together and do a study, and then they'll go to the SSC, and the SSC will look at it and say yes, yes, no, yes, no.
What does that stand for? SSC.
It's
another government agency, another body.
Statistic is. And Trevor's going to kill me.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Trevor, tell us.
I didn't know if it was another situation.
Trevor, text me.
Bail him out here.
We need a lifeline.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was another thing like NOAA or another body or something like that.
It's part of that, and it's part of the fisheries department, and it's. But
it's just it's how they get their numbers. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the statistical part of it, to where they take the numbers and look at it. I don't want to say something. And
I'm gonna get it. I'm looking it over here.
ChatGPT
Keep rolling.
Yeah,
maybe Noah. Maybe I can't get text message. He'd probably done hit me with it.
Yeah. I guess the
Scientific
thing is,
and Statistical Committee.
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
But I think the where the loopholes or where the fault comes from, if NOAA continuously is using not great or bad data, does it circle in? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does. But what happens is NOAA is just like almost anything else in the federal government. Once they get a policy and how they do something, it's hard to change that policy.
Okay.
All right. Now they use an antiquated system of being able to make a phone call or send you a card or something to say that did you fish?
Right.
Right.
Well, just to give you an idea, in the state of Mississippi, we sell an average of 80,000 saltwater license a year. Well, their idea is that everybody in the 80,000 went snapper fishing every day that snapper fishing was open, and they caught their limit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right. So now you've got to go back and try to work it. We did a thing to where you had to have an offshore permit.
The roll up.
And so now that's there, and that was to help because we tell NOAA now you can only count the people who have that offshore permit.
Okay.
All right. Instead of 80,000, we're probably at 12,000, 10 or 12,000. All right. That went in and say, yeah, I do this. Well, that helped a lot. It's kind of like when you buy your license to go hunting and they ask you, are you going to go bird hunting?
Right.
And it doesn't cost you anything, but are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to do it.
You got to fill the survey out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it helps with the survey. And then now with the MS Creel, to where we're actually doing, we do several hundred a day. And I'm talking a day that we call people and ask them for responses.
Right.
And so that's where we get people to give us an actual response to what they did. And it's not just to say, do you own a boat and you bought a license? It's to say that, did you go fishing this weekend? Did you do this? And if you did, could you give us numbers?
Right.
And so now it's real data.
Yeah.
We had it with the snapper with tails and scales.
Mm-hmm.
That was voted the best program in America.
Really?
NOAA would not let it work. And why? And after I finally figured it out, I talked to them about it. I said, guys, why didn't y'all tell us this? Because it was never going to line up with MREP. MREP was how NOAA does their things, and it was never going to match up anywhere with MREP. And because of that, they were never going to let it work the way it should work. And if we took our tails and scales, we'd be at 150, 160,000 pounds.
Right.
But they wouldn't, and they.
I guess because the MREP would say that theirs was wrong.
No, they won't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they wouldn't say it was a good product because it would prove the MREP that would be wrong.
MREP works great for a state like Florida, which is huge in the numbers. But you take a state like Alabama and Mississippi, here's the small numbers, it does not work. And they know that. And they know that 100%.
Yeah. And for people that don't know, I was just looking it up too to make sure I said it right, but it's the Marine Recreational Information Program, NOAA's state and federal partnership for collecting catch data and monitoring fish populations. MRIP is what was the acronym there. Real quick though, because I think I jumped in and kind of interrupted a little bit when I asked you about what the statistic acronym meant. To make that change though, it goes to the Gulf Council. You said, then they're going to kick it over to that's a hard word. Statistic people. Mm-hmm. They're going to do their thing. And then it comes back to the Gulf Council. And then where would it go from there?
Well, NIMS, which is marine science, natural marine science, for NOAA, they have to be able to look at it and certify their part of it. Then it goes up to D.C. It would have to go to D.C. and go to the Fisheries Department of D.C. and be looked at. And everything has to go in sequence.
Okay, so it's definitely going to get kicked
Chain of command
to Washington, and the feds have to do it because that's all federally managed.
Time keeps on ticking.
It's not a fast process.
No, it didn't. And it takes several months to years to get some things done.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the process. And they're trying hard to speed it up. They try to do anything they can to speed it up. But there's only, and as long as the rules are written the way the rules are written, they have to follow them.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people, we try to keep telling them, like, again, what we've learned through these shows is like, y'all don't make the laws, any laws. Y'all just enforce what you're given, whether that's state or federal.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. The state makes the laws that we enforce for state regs, and the federal does the other, and we follow the rules.
That's right. That's right.
So still tails and scales this year. Still ROLP, and then
And we'll do MS Krill.
MS Krill.
Yeah,
and
MS Krill will do.
Yeah, and hopefully that MS Krill will replace all of that. Hopefully.
And the good thing about MS Krill is not going to just check snapper. It's going to check all fish.
Yeah.
All right. That's before we could only check snapper with the tails and scales because it was so costly to do anything other than that. And so now we can be able to do grouper, we can be able to do cobia, we can do anything we want to, in the speckled trout even, and be able to look at it. Because if you look at speckled trout compared to what, if you asked what Noah to tell us how much we caught in speckled trout, you'd be amazed. It's in the millions of pounds. And, and that's
where's all that going? Because I ain't hearing it. I ain't hearing about it.
But the problem is it's that same process.
Right. And going back to that recreational offshore landing permit, I know when that rolled out, I heard a lot of chatter. I'm sure you did too. Like people were like, "It's another license we got to get, or another hurdle." Yeah. Even though you didn't have to pay for it, just like another thing. And it's like we've been trying through these shows, and when we talk to people, it's like it is another thing that you have to do, but it's designed to actually help us get more snapper and more of the catch that that they think that we're getting when we're really not. So like you've explained it very well, to narrow down the amount of people that are actually fishing for snapper versus the total number of offshore or saltwater fishing licenses that are being sold.
Well, it narrows down the survey.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying is communicating that to the angler, the average outdoorsman, is very important, because then they can see it as a positive instead of a negative or a nuisance.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a positive for them, and and it's just a minor thing. You just have to go in and get one. It's not hard.
They put it all online.
When you do your tails and scales, it's right there.
Yeah. Yep. And will the new the thing that we're going to go to, MS Krill, will that be?
It'll be the same.
Do you know it'll be app based?
It'll be an app
or whatever it is, because that was very convenient.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be very easy.
Yeah.
And that's just like when if you want to go online buy your license, you can. We have not been able to do that as far as commercial until this year. Now we have just signed a contract with a company, and hopefully that'll be operational soon, to where everybody, commercial or recreational, can buy their license for saltwater right there online.
Wow, that's good to hear that we're moving in that direction.
Florida's getting rid of it.
Yeah, I just texted Joey the other day, and we may end up doing an actual episode on it. Have you heard about this? That at least for, do you know more about it than I do? Interrupt me here, but at least for people that are out of state, like if Joey and I go over to Florida for the weekend or whatever, and we want to go fishing on a charter trip, we have to get an out-of-state fishing license for the day or 3 days or whatever they do. You can't buy it on your phone anymore or online. You have to go in
person.
In Florida?
In person. They just changed it this year. Go in and stand in line to get a fishing license to go take a charter trip. How many people do you think is going to do that while they're on vacation?
Yeah. And not.
Almost zero. I would assume zero.
Not many.
It's crazy.
And I don't understand that, because I may be wrong, but I think that our charter boats carry the license for you.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, if you jump on my boat, you don't even have to have a license.
So what is it for Florida then? Because
Florida's different, I guess.
Okay,
yeah.
And we may have that a little.
Louisiana's different too, because you still got to have a.
Well, you got to have that. It's a different license.
It's a skiff pass or something, charter skiff pass, but you still got to buy it.
Yeah.
But coming to Mississippi, all you got to do is get on a certified charter boat, and you're good to go.
We saw a guy that does. He's out of Central Florida. He's doing he's got his own podcast, and he was talking about it, and it come through my feed, and I'm like, what is going on? I mean, he had like 400 comments. People complaining they're doing a petition to try to get it reversed, because it's going to crush their business down there. Yeah. The charter guys, for sure. There's just no way people are going to do that. Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking there, but anyway.
My last thing on snapper, I'll get your opinion. Louisiana's opening up this weekend with the 5 fish limit per angler. How does that sit with you?
Not good. I'm proud for Louisiana, but it's not good. But it does tell you two things. It tells you how many are out there. And that's what really hurts so bad, is when we're knowing that we've got to fish, and we could do a lot of things. And we could go to 3 a day probably, and for a time, and be able to do something. But we can't do it because of our allocation is so low, and we know the fish are there. We know we have it. And we just got 16,000 more acres that we're about to put different type of reefs on it, and do additional reefs, and 16,000 more acres. Come on, help us out here. And the fish are there. I laugh at them all the time. I told them, I said, that line in Louisiana and that line in Alabama, Those fish don't stop right there.
Yeah, no wall right there.
They don't stop when they and quit. And I can go over here and catch them here, but I can't land them here, but I can land them here. Now, why? And, it doesn't make sense. And they agree with me, and they understand. And, and Lord help me, I get fussed at all the time about it. Well, why in the world can somebody else do it and we can't do it? Why do they do it? We can't do it. I don't. I tell you, it's the rules. And if I could change it to myself, it would already happened.
Yeah,
there you
I
go.
can promise you that.
There you go. That's a straight answer right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that was originally based on, or is based on, coastline square footage. No, or do I have that right?
Yeah,
Catch limits and stuff like
it's
that?
based on basically what they look at is they take a line and wherever you're, just like Louisiana and Mississippi, how they decided what's Mississippi and what's Louisiana. They floated barrels down,
Yeah.
down the river.
And that's how we got shafted on Chandelier.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But, of course, we could have got New Orleans, too.
Yeah. I'm glad the time was going that way. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Was that snapper covered?
I think snapper's covered. We had Mr. Jeremy England on here not too
Senator.
Senator. Yeah, sorry. And there's a new law that's been up there, and it involves y'all in a whole lot of ways.
A portion of y'all.
Yeah, a portion of y'all. So probable cause is needed now for the DMR to make it's not a
stop on the
safety
water.
stop. Is that correct?
That's
I think
correct.
any stop,
And,
correct? Yeah.
Senator England and some others in the Senate and the House looked at this, and it wasn't just them. They had about a 98% rate that wanted to pass this.
Well, he told us sitting right there in the chair where you are. They proposed it this session and it passed this session, which is not.
And with
unique.
about a 98%,
Right.
I don't remember the numbers, but it was like 1 or 2 in each maybe didn't vote for it. But the point I'm getting at is we looked at it, and the main thing it is if you're coming out and and you're coming back in from the island or whatever, and you have no fishing poles or nothing else, and it's just you and your kids, and you own a boat and you're out there, then why should we stop you?
Right.
There's really no probable cause to stop you for that. And, we used to do it just for safety checks.
Right.
But 90% of the safety checks we were doing was people already stopped, and we just pull up to them.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and that was all right, but that's okay. We're going to continue to look for safety. We're going to follow the rules of the law, the way it was written. We're going to be 100% by what they tell us to do. Now, I want you to understand it has nothing to do with regulatory. That if it's regulatory means that we can still maintain our resource. And when I'm talking about that is our fishing, we can still see if you've been catching snapper, or if you've been catching speckled trout or whatever, and we know that then we can look at it and make sure you got the right sizes and the right numbers.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, and that was kind of something that we wanted a little more clarification on, even when we were talking to Senator England when he was in here. Is and if you could help us out, is it? If you're on a known reef or wreck, or like how, in other words, how will an officer out there pull you over to check the catch that you have? What makes that distinction there?
You can look at a lot of things with probable cause. I mean, like you said, if you're sitting on top of a reef for 30 minutes or an hour, that's a probable cause. And I probably got binoculars on you looking at you anyway.
That's right.
And so
That's
I can tell you've been fishing. So, it's probable cause that you've been fishing, right? The probable cause is not to find out do you have 10 life preservers and you're supposed to have 11. That's not what we're talking about. Now, can we check that afterwards?
Right.
Yes, you can always check it afterwards, and that's and that would just be a courtesy check to say, hey, where you at? What you doing? Our officers are not trying to write that ticket anyway.
Right.
And, they're out there working. The only reason that the safety part of it is to make sure that you are protected if you need it. And we'll still be able to do that. And I don't think Senator England or any one of the senators or House members, anyone wanted any part of that to stop. I don't think that.
No. He said that. Yeah,
he said exactly the same.
And, they were basically just like if you're riding down Interstate 10, and just because you're in a red car, you shouldn't get pulled over.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm glad to hear you as the top dog down there to say that y'all understood, what they were getting at, and it's kosher.
Yeah, we're fine. We don't have a problem with them. We definitely will follow the law the way that they have written it, And they would give it, and in the law, it gave us enough leadway to be able to do what we need to do as far as resources and manage the resources. And that's the biggest thing we have to do. And if we see any type of safety thing, that's probable cause. If you see a 5-year-old kid riding on the bow of the boat and he's running 30 miles an hour, it's probable cause.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Come on, we're not trying to do anything like that.
That's right.
But most of our officers in the past, if he pulled you over and you had 6 life preservers and you needed 7, they'd give you one and tell you, when you come bring this back, I'll tear the ticket
That's
out.
right. That's right.
So
Right.
I mean, it's not
Flares,
like
any of that.
yeah,
stuff.
it's not like they're trying to do something. So I think that we're fine. I think Senator England and the whole group, I think they did what they thought was correct, and I don't see that it really changed a whole lot of things of what we'll
Right.
do as far as Department of Marine Resources, and because our job is to maintain the resource out there and to keep the safety, and we will do that. And if you're driving erratically in a boat, that's no different than swerving in a car.
There you go.
Right.
If you're, if you're doing something wrong, then that's probable cause. But if you're not doing anything wrong, let you go.
There you
Enjoy
go.
your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's clear this up. If you don't have any fishing poles in your boat and you're just riding with your family, DMR has to have probable cause for you to be stopped.
Unless
Correct.
I've seen you doing something. I mean,
Right.
when you say you
Right.
don't have fishing poles, I can hide them down up under here. It doesn't
Right.
matter. But if I've observed you doing something, that's one thing. But if I'm not going to stop you just because I see you coming across the water,
Right. Right.
and you're going to have to give me a reason.
Right. So a lot of people have been yelling, well, if I just have a fishing pole in my boat, is that probable cause? There's a lot of stuff we're getting. There's 2 different stops, right? You can do a safety stop where if you don't have any fishing poles, you should be good. But a resource stop, you can still continue resource stops at any point,
Yeah.
correct?
I could, but I think our officers are smart enough and understand enough to know that if they see one fishing pole sitting on there and there's 6 people on the boat, that
Right.
boat, maybe a kid was playing around with it or something
Right.
like that, they're not going to mess with that person.
Okay.
All right. It's the same as anything else. And we can still look at the dock. When you come into the dock, we can check you for anything we needed to, but we're not, the whole goal is not to do that. The goal is to be
Safety.
able,
Yeah.
our resources is our first thing but the safety, the idea of safety, we want everybody to be as safe as they can. That's just like a state trooper wants you to put your seatbelt on. We want you to do whatever you're supposed to do and do it the right way. And we're not out here to try to cause you any other. And I don't really care how, unless you're doing something wrong, unless you got 20 people on the 10-foot skiff,
Hey, gas is up.
Yeah,
Gas is up.
yeah.
I mean, come on.
But the point I'm getting at is I'm not trying to do that, and
Right.
neither is Department of Marine Resources as far as our Marine Patrol. And once again, we will follow the law 100%. We're not mad at anybody about it. We'll do what we need to do, and I don't think it's going to hurt us as far as what we do, as far as being able to manage a resource and continue to be able to keep people safe on the water. I don't
Yep.
think it's going to make any difference.
We said it on the episode when we talked to Senator England. I'll say it again here too. The boating stop is not the place to become an attorney or a lawyer either, as far as the person getting pulled over. So be respectful, and if you feel like debate that in the courtroom. If it goes to that level, I guess what I'm trying to say, because you know how people sometimes I know the new law of probable cause and want to argue and all that. That's not probably the place to do it.
Well, and I know one other thing. Our officers are being recorded.
Yeah, that's true too.
And so, it's going to record you too. So
That's right.
Yeah.
if you're doing something, it's going to be on tape.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. So be
All right.
respectful. Like you said, those guys are out there working hard.
Yeah.
Try to protect the resource, and I see both sides of it for sure. So
100%. And especially like this weekend, a big weekend. I'm sure y'all going to have extra enforcement on the water with it being Memorial Day weekend and stuff like that. So
10 to 15 mile an hour winds may stop a lot of that.
you might. Yeah, you might have to go up the river.
yeah, or stay in the bay. I
Yeah.
mean, that's about all you can do these days with the weather. It seems like, but no, we appreciate you hearing you say that, and you've always been very easy to talk to on these issues. You've always been very transparent and quick to just answer the questions for us in here.
Yeah.
So that's great too.
Well, we're not here to hide anything.
Yeah.
We are funded by the people of the state of Mississippi and America. 99% of our funding comes from either the state of Mississippi or either a taxpayer somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
we're here to work for you. We're not here to do any other difference than that. We're here to work for you. Our biggest thing is, number one, we always err to safety. We want you to be safe on the water. We want you to be safe no matter what you're doing in any type of marine. And we also want to manage the resource. We want to make sure that we have it there for your grandkids and your great-grandkids and your great-great-grandkids to be able to do it in the future. That's our goal. That's all our goal is. And our scientists, 90%, probably 80% of at least of Department of Marine Resources is out there working, trying to find a way to make it better for you in some other way, for as how many crabs you can catch or how many, and raising the amount to where you can get what you need. And they're trying to figure out more ways to raise more and more ways to be able to keep the resource and how to keep our wetlands and how to keep our marshlands and how to keep things doing. That's what our goal is. We have a small percentage, maybe 20% of the agency that's law enforcement, and their job is to do what they do, and that is to protect you and to protect the resource.
I like it. Yeah. What you got?
These fancy hats that you gave us are a big thing now. I know you had your little thing today. Gulf of America seafood. That's what we're trying to get, right? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, everything is about Gulf of America seafood and Mississippi Gulf of America seafood. Right. So what we're doing is the legislature put in a bill a little over a year ago, and it basically said we would do a seafood task force. Okay. Seafood marketing task force. How do we market seafood as far as labeling and marketing? And so one of the goals was to be able to make you, if you have a restaurant or if you have a market or if you have a grocery store or whatever and you're selling seafood, that it has to be labeled. And and so what we did is we went back and we modified that, and they passed a new bill this year or just modified the old bill to make it a little better. And because the one thing, I don't know if you've ever owned a restaurant or anybody about it, but the point is a menu, it's not cheap. Right. It's not cheap to print one.
That's right.
So how do we make it to where they don't have to print a new menu every week? And how do we make it to where they can be able to modify their menu and make it work? And one of the things is put a caption on the very front of the menu. And if it says that, it might have oysters, it might have shrimp, it might have this, whatever it says, and it, the seafood, and it says imported or domestic. Yeah. Okay. And so that's what we're going to look at. And so they can change that and be able to move it in and out and do what they need to do. Or they can go to the actual menu and say that it's imported or domestic. The other thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to market Mississippi seafood. Right? Yeah. So what can we do to get our shrimpers, our oystermen, our crabbers, our finfish, our fishermen out there? How can we help them? So what we're trying to do is come up with a label, and it hadn't been 100% made yet, but the Visit Mississippi's helping us do this. Okay. And then we have the Gulf Mississippi here on the Gulf that is helping us to do it too through tourism in the Gulf. And so what we're doing is we're going out and we're coming up with a label that we can put. And it'll be some kind of a label that has that on there, and it'll say Mississippi, Gulf of America, Mississippi seafood or something to that effect. And what we're going to do is if you sell that in your restaurant, then we're going to give you those labels to put out there and put on your doors and put on anything else. We're going to give you maybe a little thing to where you can put it on your menu that says that. Mm-hmm. All right. And then we're going to go out and try to advertise for you. We're going to go out and say that ABC restaurant over here is serving Gulf of America, Gulf of Mississippi seafood. Right. And here's what we're doing. And we're going to do this advertisement. Well, that's how we're going to help you be able to pay the difference to be able to buy domestic rather than import. Okay. I can't buy the seafood for you, but I can help you by advertising for you. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to get you advertising so you can get advertisement free because you're doing this. And that's going to help us. And then I'm hoping we'll have everything put together before cruising the coast. Mm-hmm. Right. 100,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah, they want to know where they're eating. Yeah.
That's right. And everybody asks us, where do we get it at? Where do we get Gulf Fresh? Where do we get this? Where do we get this? Well, we're going to try to have something set up to where we can help them with it. And we'll have a barcode that you can scan. It'll tell you these restaurants have it. This is what it is. Yeah. This is what it is. And the other thing was the Cool Act, which is basically means that you have to label your seafood if it's frozen, from a foreign country, but you have to put the country on it. Well, that wasn't in the old bill, so we had to go back and modify that because these frozen seafood companies are not going to just change it to Mississippi and do what Mississippi said, domestic or import.
Right.
So we had to go back and change it to make it match up, and that's okay. If you go to one of the local grocery stores here and you want to buy some frozen seafood, it's going to have it listed on there, whether it's domestic or import. Now, if they sell fresh, not frozen, then it has to be labeled either domestic, import, or whatever country of origin it is too. So it has to be a sign in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be the same thing as if you go to one of your seafood markets. It has to be labeled. If you go to a restaurant, it has to be labeled.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about. And hopefully we'll get a lot of people coming and saying, I want Gulf of America.
Absolutely.
I think you brought up a good point with the cruising the coast people. That is a large influx of people that come in for an event, right? That are not from here, right?
That's
it's a
right.
large body of people,
Majority.
the majority of people that are not from here all at one time. And we've talked about this before. You go to a town, whether it's Destin, which is not that far from here or something. If I go visit a place, I want to know like where do the locals eat? What's the good place?
I don't want to go to McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't want to go to like Chili's in a new city. I want to go to where the locals go, the place that I don't know as a tourist, but they do. Same thing. These people come in cruising the coast. They want to know like who's serving Gulf fresh seafood, and you nailed it saying that like if you market it as such, people are going to seek that out, even though they may have to pay a higher price for it to get the Gulf fresh, but they want to taste it. They want to see what came right out of that water that's right over here that I'm looking at, and I think they would buy that.
Well, and and you take our local restaurants, they're going to work with you because
Right.
that's what they want. And, your chain restaurants are driven by whoever owns them.
Right.
And that's where we have our problems, a lot of things with our casinos. It's not that the casinos here don't want to serve 100% right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that they have to do
They get
whatever
what
their
they get.
corporate tells
Right.
them to do.
That's right.
All right. Now, but if you go to a buffet, you're not really buying something that you really care that much about anyway. All right.
Yeah.
So
You have lowered your standards
Right,
to begin
right,
with.
yeah,
I won't
Right.
say that. I'm just saying.
To a
the
degree.
now the buffet is a different clientele of what I'm talking about and what you're expecting to eat.
Right.
All right. You're not looking to find something on it that is a special thing.
Right.
Now, if you go into a seafood restaurant, you're looking at what it is, and you're expecting to be able to get a good seafood product because you're going to pay more for it.
Right.
I'm not cutting a buffet. That's not what I'm
Oh,
after.
I'm a buffet guy. Don't. No,
But
let me be straight.
I get a lot of the Asian buffets, and they like, they'll label it, put import real quick on it. You know,
They
if
don't
it's-
care. Yeah, they're like, don't buy
because,
me.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
And, if you're going into that restaurant to sit there, you're not really look what you're doing. You're going into a foreign style restaurant to start with.
Right.
All right. And so, it's not a big deal. And everybody's trying to do what's right. And so I understand that. And all of our GMs and everything from the coast here on the casinos and everywhere else are trying to do what they can.
Yeah.
And, and they're hiring the restaurants that they can do that with, that they can do that. They can come back and say, okay, we're going to serve this and this because it's a little different.
Yeah.
But when you go to, like your chain restaurants from all over America, you're not going to change that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. No, but I think, like you say, you market it, you can charge a little bit more for it, and I think people would, like you say, seek that out. I mean, I think of like just looking at like that cup right there. I mean, you can get that cup for a certain price, but you can get a Yeti, and it's going to cost 3 times what that particular cup costs because they've established themselves as that brand and as the higher tier item. We can do the same thing with fresh caught, Gulf of America seafood, Mississippi caught seafood.
Most people wouldn't mind paying a few dollars more.
I know they.
Yeah.
I mean, I would,
And
for sure.
I think there was something in some news outlet. I don't know if it was Sun Herald, WLX, but they actually did the who's not serving.
I know what
Gulf
you're talking about.
seafood.
I know what you're talking about.
But
Yeah.
they never put who was serving. So that's what y'all are working on the list of, okay, point me in this direction.
okay, I don't think they listed any restaurants as to where they were or whatnot.
Okay.
What they did is we have a group of people that they're basically done by the Southern Shrimp Alliance is the one who pays for this.
Mhm.
And they go in and they sample restaurants and they look at it and they basically say, is this a fresh or is this import or is this domestic?
Yeah.
And it has it on there, or either they'll tell them which one it is, and then they'll take a sample of that with them when they get through eating. they'll take a sample and go and do a DNA test on it.
To make sure,
So they know where they're at. What happened in 2024, 18% of the restaurants that were checked were serving Gulf fresh.
Mm-hmm.
This year, 64% were serving it.
Wow. That's a big difference.
That is a huge difference.
That's a big difference.
All right, and that's like I told WLOX and some of the others. Don't talk about the negative over here because the negative is so small compared to the positive that we've got out of this.
Yeah.
And our restaurants are trying to get there.
Right.
All right.
I remember the frustration on what you were referring to is that there were restaurants that weren't listed, that weren't checked or whatever, and they were like, by not putting us on this list, it makes us sound like we weren't doing it, and no one just spoke. I mean, I'm getting that a little bit wrong, but like it was almost like by being excluded, they did something wrong, and some of them had.
Some restaurants don't serve anything but Gulf.
Right.
And because their name wasn't mentioned that they serve only that because they wouldn't even test it.
That's right. That's what I'm getting at. And that's where that friction was.
And they can only be a small amount of it. And I work with a company that does this, and as far as talking to them, and I explained to them. And the one thing that, some of the guys that go out and they write these Facebook things on it and all, I come back and I say, guys, wait, put it right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't mind you telling the truth. Just put it right.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say that 63% were lying, and not saying that what they served was what it was. Well, that was 63% of 30-something%.
Right. Of just the ones you picked.
What? Get Trevor in here. I can't do this kind of statistics.
No, what I'm talking about, out of the 64% was serving Gulf Fresh.
Right.
30-something% wasn't serving Gulf Fresh. And out of that 30-something%, 60% of them were saying they were and wasn't. All right, that's a small number.
Right.
That is a real small number compared to saying that 63% of them are saying they're not. That means 63 of all. No, it doesn't.
Right.
That means 2/3 of them were not even included in that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, and I think it's just a vague, the statement they made was so vague, it just fired everybody up.
It had a lot of people like feeling like they were being misrepresented on whether it was intentional or not. But
I know they're trying not to do that, and I'm working with them on it, and they listen to me. The guy that runs that company, he listens, and then we talk, and you got to give the facts. I don't care. The facts is fine.
Mm-hmm.
The facts at 18%, fine.
Right.
The facts at 64%, fantastic.
Even better. Yeah.
Even better.
Now,
don't skew that the other way.
What year was it you said was this percentage, and then it went up to?
In 24, it was 18%, and this year it was 64%.
Okay, and what do you accredit that jump in percentage to?
Two things.
Is the efforts that y'all have done? Is it?
I think because of the legislature last year passing a bill, and even though that we are not pushing that real hard until July the 1st of this year because we had to modify it.
Okay.
I think a lot of the restaurants are really trying hard to get in line. And a lot of them are saying, hey, we want to do what we can. And I think a lot of people in the restaurant business out here, especially in South Mississippi, are looking at it and saying, you know what, we got a dying breed out here. We got a dying breed of fishermen. If we don't do something to save them, we're going to be in trouble, and we're going to be serving these Venezuelan shrimp and everything else the rest of our life.
Yeah.
And this is not going to be something that we want. And so I think that they see that, and I think that they're working hard to try to help us every way they can. Now, my goal is try to help them help us. How do we do it?
I love it.
Yeah.
What now? That rollout of, I guess you said Visit Mississippi is designing. Is that going to be a QR code, a logo?
It's going to be a logo.
Okay, but it ain't out yet.
It's not out yet.
Okay.
We got a very preliminary design, and we're down to fine tuning it.
Okay, all right. I love that because I'd love to see that when it's out, and like to even hang it up around in here.
Yeah, it'll be something like what you got with brown water there. This circle right here. It'll be something like that with some kind of designs in it and writing across of it, so you can actually put it on a like you have here,
right?
Or you can take it and put it on a sticker and put it on your window of your door. As your restaurant showing what you're doing. Or you can take it and put it on a menu to a small route, and then we can take it and put it on billboards.
That's it.
And my goal is to list this and say, hey, if you see this sign,
go there.
Go there, and that's what you're getting.
That's it. That's what logos do. It's like I can look at that and I know exactly what I'm getting.
Yep.
So
I like it. My last thing, and we'll wrap it up on this. We talked about it just a few seconds ago. Let's talk about shrimp season. Shrimp season is closed now, right?
It
Correct?
is.
And fuel prices are astronomical, so I'm sure they're taking the burn on that.
I'm sure they are. Right now, Louisiana opened on the 13th.
Right.
So they are shrimp season out there. The shrimp are looking better. They were growing. They're growing faster than the average. As to whether or not we're going to be able to open our shrimp season before the 7th of June, I think we will, unless something catastrophic happens. Fresh water slows it down.
Right.
Moves this one here and this one here and does whatever. But and we had a big freshwater intrusion with all the rain about a week ago, and so that now we're trying to recoup from that. With that, the salinity has been very high for
Super
April.
high, yeah.
In April, which helped the shrimp to be able to grow, and so everybody I'm talking to, and I talk to the bait guys that go out and catch a bait, the shrimp and all, and they're saying, "Man, it's unreal how big they are." They're growing so fast compared to what we used to catching this time of year, and that's fantastic. But when the rains hit, it pushes the smaller ones out of the bays, out of the rivers into the bays, and then that causes the numbers to go down. So we got to get to 58 count, basically 60 count, and then get 50% there.
Right.
And when we start testing to that point, and we're not far off right now. And Jason Sochi gave us a briefing this morning over our shrimp bureau. And he talked about it, and it's there. It's getting there. I think we'll get there before the 7th of June. I just don't want to say something and be totally out in the left field.
But
I think that you're going to see a good season. Now, as I've been talking to some of the processors and others and all, it's come on, guys, make sure you give these people on that boat enough money to do it. Make sure that we bring the price. If we set the price, and this is one thing that I know, I'm not trying to tell a processor how to run his business because they do that for a living. I don't. But if we all kind of get in line together and we say that we're going to pay this so that we can keep our fishermen fishing,
right,
then the market will let that happen. It's just like our gas stations out here. They not put a few cents a gallon unless you get off the road somewhere. It's not much different. But if you stay on a normal track in a city, you're talking 3 to 5 cents on a gallon, the difference in fuel.
That's right.
All right. If we can keep our market that way to where our shrimpers and where are getting that, then the shrimpers can afford. They got to be able to get more than 75 cents a pound.
Yeah.
They can't go out at $5.50 a gallon on diesel and be able to do that.
No.
And what's happening in Louisiana right now, because it's such close knit that they can catch real quick and come back to shore, and it's not costing them that much fuel.
That's right.
But when it starts moving out, that's going to make a difference, and that's what we do. So we've got to be able to help it. And I talked to a lot of the processors, and they're all on board, and they're saying, yes, you're right, we need to do this. And my question is, will you do this? Don't cut each other's throat. Don't play cutthroat. Let's set a price, and let's say this is what we're going to do. And we're going to pay this for it, and everybody across the board's paying it, and then that way we can get these shrimpers out there and get them to work, and they'll be able to do it.
Yeah, because it's definitely a tough job. It's a tough living right now.
There's no
Looking
lie.
at the ice prices, fuel prices.
Look at the fleet. How much is going down?
That's my next. That'll be my ending question. There's a federal fleet, and then there's a state fleet. Or some of the boats are still pulling. Some of the Mississippi boats are still pulling right now, but they're federal, right?
Yeah, out in federal waters.
Yeah, and they're selling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And what can I bring up one other thing?
Go ahead.
You
Absolutely.
bring it, whatever you want to bring.
Absolutely.
Congressman Ezel is chairing a bill that hopefully I'm going to get to go testify first part of June on in Congress, and it's to change the state waters.
Okay.
All right. Florida and Texas has 9 miles.
Right.
Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama have 3 miles.
Yeah.
Well, he's put a bill together, and he's got backing from Alabama and and Louisiana and other states to be able to back this, and he's got a bill together to bring it all to 9 miles. That's going to be something that's great. If we can get Mississippi waters to 9 miles, it's 9 miles now for reef fish,
right?
But if we can get it for all, then that makes a lot of difference in what we're talking about. You're talking about our charter boats and what that'll do for them. Now they can go snapper fishing and be able to get 9 miles, which they can do that anyway. But the point but they can go out there then and after snapper season's over, if they're not going for snapper, redfish, you can't just stop at a 3 mile line, because and they be able to catch them. And then whatever the other fish, things cobia, everything.
Yeah.
Now that gives our charter boats a chance. It gives them a chance to be able to go out and have a business to do what they can do. and hopefully will bring more people into South Mississippi to fish, and it will help the whole resource a whole lot. And so please, if you see Congressman Ezel, tell him thank you.
Yeah, let me text him real quick.
Yeah. We got to get him back in here. He did the show when he was running. However many years ago that was.
Well, he's doing a great job, and if you get a chance, tell him thank you.
Yeah, we will. Like I said, we'd love to get him to sit right back in that seat right there and go over all that he's learned and what he's. He's been in the swamp now. We got to figure out what he's learned.
He has fought very, very hard too for the Bonnie Carey.
Right.
And he has fought hard to be able to stop the Corps from being able to just open it at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're listening to him because he is the type person, being an old former law enforcement and a sheriff. He's just not going to take no for an answer.
That's right.
And you got to love him. And he's just out there, and he's like, okay,
bulldog.
Yeah. Well, it's ideas. Well, you didn't give me what I wanted this way. Let me look at it this way. You didn't give it this way. Let me look at it that way. He's doing a great job. So thank him if you get a chance.
Will do. Absolutely. And unless you got anything else,
everything's on your website, season wise. Go to the DMR website, check everything out.
Yeah. What's something y'all got coming up that you're pushing, maybe that we haven't touched on real quick before we wrap things up? Is there anything else?
Well, obviously we got 2 or 3 things that are happening. You have the fishing rodeo that's going to be this weekend in D'Iberville that we're helping them with. We also have the Billfish tournament that's coming up in the first week in June, and we help sponsor some of that, and that's a good deal for us. Hopefully we'll bring the Gulf record back and get it away from Alabama.
Alabama took it from us.
They stole it from us. We got to get it back. And then we have the Governor's Saltwater Fishing Classic coming up. And that's on the 22nd, 23rd of June, and where we go snapper fishing, and we go snapper and cobia fishing.
Right.
And we raise money for the Mississippi Wildlife Fisheries Parks and Marine Foundation. So that's a good thing. And some of the things we're going to do with that is we're going to be able to give a bunch of scholarships. And this year, we have money to give scholarships, and we're going to go out and start advertising probably in the next couple of weeks about some scholarships that we're going to be able to do for marine science and all. So that's coming along. We got Gulf Council will be here in August. So if you want, we'll have the Gulf Council here then, so we'll be able to talk to them.
Are those open? Is that those talks that you can just walk in there and listen to? Okay.
The last one that they did here, which was only a couple months ago, if I remember correctly, they even had a portion where you could sign up and ask a question, public comment section.
Yeah. That was a casino, wasn't it?
It was at the Bow, I think.
And it will be at the Golden Nugget again.
Nugget, yeah.
Okay. And you could ask a question digitally too, like streaming. You didn't even have to be there.
Yeah,
so.
but if you just want to come listen, you can come sit in there when the open session is, and you can come sit down and listen, and be more than welcome to have you there.
Awesome. Well, sir, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you stopping by and talking with us and being transparent with everything like you have this entire time with us. It means a lot. We are honored to be able to do these DMR episodes and try to help spread the word and the message.
We appreciate these slick-looking hats.
What y'all are doing. Yeah, we appreciate the swag.
We're coming up with a new one.
I like it. I like the old one.
But the new one's going to say Gulf of America Seafood.
I like it.
And so we're going to have Mississippi on it and all, but we're coming up with that. It'll be out here before long. And if I can, just a big shout out to my whole team.
Oh, yeah.
They're some of the greatest people in the world. They work hard every day, and none of them get paid near what they're worth. So if you ever see them, thank them, because they're doing a great job. And, and our legislators are doing a great job for us. They're fighting hard for us. Our governor, our lieutenant governor, our secretary of state, everybody's fighting hard for us. Mm-hmm. And they're working hard for us to be able to do what we need. We're lucky. This state of Mississippi is very lucky to have the people that we have.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that at all.
No.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Yes,
I want to thank everybody for watching on the live, the replays, the streams. If you haven't downloaded the Brownwater Banter app, we got the Tails and Scales right inside of there. It's a link straight to it. So if you got our app, you're good to go there. All the tides, the weather, radar, everything you need for a day out on the water to have a good time in one app, condensed down. And if y'all keep tuning in, we'll keep doing them. We'll see you on the next one.
Later.
Thanks so much for checking out the show. We really appreciate the support. If you haven't downloaded the Brownwater Banter app yet, go do it. It's free in the App Store and on Google Play. We have everything covered for a day out on the water. We've got the tides, the radar, Tails and Scales app. We've got a radio station right inside of it, and it's all free. All of our content is in there. You can listen to the show directly inside of the app. Make sure you keep your notifications turned on so you can stay in touch with us as we go live with guests in the future and plan events. If y'all keep tuning in, we'll keep doing them. We'll see you on the next one.
Brownwater Banter.